Nothing makes me happier than seeing slap suits get rocked, especially when it's by content creators. That shit is Vosh suddenly caring about music. I don't really care about music. I like Fantano. Admittedly, I haven't seen many of his videos. He just seems like a cool guy. Also, you know, content creator solidarity. The musician's a really bad person. I can tell. Just, it's just a vibe thing. Just a vibe thing. You know what? Whenever I see stuff like this, you know what lives in my mind rent-free? Like, it pops into my head randomly and has many hundreds of times. It was back in that era, maybe the era is still going, but it was back in that era where TikTok musicians would try to create like the flashiest little 10-second portion of the song they put out on SoundCloud. They're probably still doing that, but I feel like there was a time where it was maybe more popular. And there's this one of this guy walking down the stairs, and he goes, "I'm a 5'4" man whore who slits his wrist," or something like that. And it activates. It's so compelling. It activates. You've heard? Okay, some of you have heard it, because I swear I got like memed and reposted a million times. But that shit lives in my head rent free because I feel like it's a perfect parody / encapsulation of a particular era of people trying to do like their own wannabe copycat bullshit off of Evanescence or Fall Out Boy or whatever. And whenever I see people who look like this today, I think I'm looking at the modern version of that. Does that make any sense? That's the feeling that I get. Blood on the dance floor core? That is hard to say. You go, King.
I won my lawsuit. Can we do a thing, a song? Can we play a song? Can we play a song?
By the way, this is the same guy who wrote the "My Life is Like a Video Game" song. What? Is that true? My life is like a video game. Always try. That what? This guy? No way. Hold on. I have to confirm that. That's too funny to be real. My life is like a video game song. Song by Falling in Reverse. Holy shit, it's him. Oh my god. It's him. Oh god. Does this type of music have a genre, and is it groomercore? Is that what it's called? Music heads in chat. /MU regulars. Okay? I need you to speak up. I can't believe he made this. Up to be a big boy. I can't believe it. This guy lost a lawsuit. I can't believe it.
Some confetti coming down. Some confetti. Woo! Yeah! Hey everyone, Lothany Suit Tano here, the internet's legalist music nerd, and it's time for a review of a lawsuit that was recently filed against me. And does
Vasha know who Ronnie Radke is? Listen, I'm so out of my element right now, okay? I know less about this than not only like the median chatter, but the bottom quartile chatter. I guarantee you that if you took any person watching and put them in my chair right now and sent me off to Siberia, like, you would probably have more to say about this. But I still want to learn, okay?
Was hilariously dismissed. Now, before I begin, let me say I am absolutely not trolling in this video. There's no vegan cookie recipes or gags or any goofiness happening here. Now, if this situation is alien to some of you guys watching, that may partially...
I'm sorry. I know I get flack for this, but just to be clear, you realize that when you chastise me for being musically illiterate right now, you're implying that My Life is Like a Video Game is a good song that I just can't appreciate, right? Like, when I make fun of that and you guys are like, oh, there he goes again with his nonsensical, ignorant music taste. Like, you realize you're on the other side of that line, okay? Yes? Oh, okay, well. I can't say I haven't watched that TikTok video quite a few times. The one of the nerdy looking guy with the glove? The power glove? It's a power glove, right?
be because I was pretty quiet on the topic as it's been happening. And this whole legal to-do has been ongoing since like the end of last year. And over the course of all of this, I didn't go through the usual YouTube drama channel rigmarole of, oh no, look at me, I'm in legal trouble, donate to my Indiegogo, which is...
He might be, I think he might be prodding Ethan Klein there a little bit.
Is not to knock anybody who does that sort of thing, or say that I won't have to do that sort of thing at some point in the future, because I understand lawsuits can get pretty expensive. But I didn't want to blow this up into something bigger than it needed to be. And also on top of it, I didn't really want to give the person who was suing me the satisfaction of maybe seeing me squirm, or just for him to have the capacity to read into anything that I'm doing or saying, or just...
That's been me, man. That's always how I default to things. And I've always wondered if I ever got like hit with a slap suit, you know, if some piece of shit was like, you know, Vosh called me an idiot, this is defamatory, whatever, you know, it like where I would fall on that line, right? Like the desire to be totally quiet about it so that you're not giving them any satisfaction versus milking the ever-loving shit out of it. You know, I feel like it's just financially responsible to milk the ever-living shit out of it, man. I feel like you have to go down that road unless you're very confident that you're going to win. Oh, I want to know what the like instigating force was here, you know?
Cause more of a fuss over this, because it was pretty clear from the start what this person was seeking was like some kind of reaction from me, a takedown, a payment. And as a result, I think it just made more sense to handle this in a quiet, mature, adult fashion. Now, who exactly am I talking about here? The man who sued me? Why, it's the most amazing musician walking the planet today, of course.
Why would you ever get these tattoos? I don't understand this. God, look, the edges aren't even well defined. Are they tattoos, or did he just like rub the back of his hands in ink? Why do they look like this? Tekashi 6ix9ine Core. I feel like Tekashi looked a lot better than this.
Mr. Ronald Radke. Hi, Ronald. I know you're watching. Love ya. Thank you for paying me back my legal fees, but we will get into that later. Mr. Ronald Radke, if you're unfamiliar, is the singer, songwriter, rapper, frontman of the band Falling in Reverse. And before the year 2023, I was living in what I consider to be the pre-Ronald chapter of my existence. A blissful, dreamlike time when I barely even knew who this man was. In fact, you can even go back into my YouTube content history on all my channels and see, like, it's not like I've been talking about this man and his music for years. I've been doing the needle drop for over a decade now, but I've only started talking about Ronald's antics and his music recently. But, you know, Ronald Radke being the popular monster that he is, he couldn't stay off my radar forever. Especially...
Can we get a poll on how people feel about the Game Over song, My Life is Like a Video Game? Can we get a poll on that? Can we see how people feel? I want to know, like, do you think it's a bop? Do you think it's an epic fail? I bet that's how he would call it.
As I was seeing him on social media in the last few years, just constantly going after and attacking people commenting on him and his music, whether it be content creators or even just random fans. And I'm not talking about like a quick reply or a snappy clapback or something like that. You only need to spend 10 minutes on this man's Twitter or his TikTok to see him absolutely obsessing over every negative thing that is said about him.
What's up, guys? I'm going to read some comments from some of the ugliest, most disgusting, fattest, stinkiest looking people I've ever seen in my life that probably just masturbate to the idea of being with me, but will never be able to be with me because I'm so far out of all of their leagues that even if they bought a VIP meet and greet and I saw their face, they wouldn't even be allowed to meet me.
And often the way he engages with this criticism says more about him than the person he's replying to. This tweet from 2024, where he talks about being a violent felon, ex-drug addict, multimillionaire, multi-platinum selling recording artist, cultured and well-traveled with common sense, handsome, 40 years old, and looks younger than most 25-year-olds. So It only took me a handful of examples of me seeing behavior like this to start wondering, why is this guy so loud and insecure and annoying? So of course I started reading more of his social media posts, looking at various articles about him, looking into his criminal record, because again, this is a guy who proudly portrays that he is a violent ex-felon on the internet. So yeah, it didn't take me long to come to the determination, my own personal opinion, that this guy sucks. And so I wrote and recorded a video called This Guy Sucks, which addressed all the reasons that he sucked.
2
now,
years
it was
ago.
one of our more thoroughly researched videos that week, because I thought the likelihood was going to be pretty high that Ronald would see this video and not like it very much, and that maybe possibly I would become the object of his affection. And I mean, I'm not bragging here, but I would say the video had about that effect. And if you don't believe me, here's a picture of Ronald completely unprompted, dressing up like me for Halloween. The man is into role play. And to add some irony to this man's defamation suit, he also alleges in this Twitter post that I like reading sex books to second graders. So yeah, after posting...
Is that meant to be like an anti-wokeness thing? Like, is he accusing Fantano of doing like drag time story hour? What is that in reference to?
That this man, honest to God, filed a defamation suit against me, which again is funny because number one, he's not very careful with his own words. And two, another reason this is funny is that Ronnie historically likes to revel in just how bad his reputation is. So yeah, Ronald Radke didn't really take all that kindly to the This Guy Sucks video. However, it seemingly took a while for it to really get under his skin. After all, that vid dropped in 2023, but it wouldn't be until the following year that he would really begin crashing out over it. He even made an almost 10-minute TikTok response to the video, where at one point he offers to pay my ex $250,000 to come work for him and tell him all of my secrets.
$250,000 a year starting offer right now. You come work for us. You want to play games, Anthony? I can play some games, and I'm a good person. You're going to see just how good of a person I am on how I treat your ex-wife.
Which, you know, is like very normal behavior that a normal person engages in who is normal.
He could be taking all of this out of context, okay? We could be watching a very deceptive and manipulatively edited video.
But yeah, when it comes to the lawsuit Ronald ultimately filed, it took him a minute to really build up to it. He spent days tweeting about me on Twitter saying he's gonna sue me, he's gonna sue me, he's gonna sue me.
Sir, this makes you liable in court. I will sue the ever-living beep out of your ass. You don't realize that. I will use every last dollar.
He was also doing some deep dive research into my background too, like really hacking into the matrix, and
Taylor Lorenz responded to the Dark Money article she wrote. Did she criticize David Pacman for not wearing a mask in his response video? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. She makes herself vulnerable to this.
Digging up very hard to find personal information like I live in San Diego. I didn't really say anything because...
Girl, you gotta let that go. Am I girl or is she girl? Because I agree with girl, you gotta let that go, but in some contexts and not in others. Girl.
Who am I to stand in the way of such impressive detective work? Now, you might be thinking, Anthony, that's crazy. Why would somebody think that? That's a crazy thing to think. Someone would have to be stupid to think such a thing. Well, no, I kid you not, because Ronald, in fact, followed through with his lawsuit, filed it originally in California, and sued the wrong Anthony Fantano. You heard that correctly. Apparently, there's another Anthony Fantano out there in America, and Ronald found that Anthony Fantano and sued him. It took a while for Ronald and his legal
team. You can just sue anyone, right? You can sue absolutely anyone, and until a judge finally takes the time to look at the case, like anything can sit out there, you know?
To realize this error. And when I did eventually get served this lawsuit right here, as you can see from the photo on the screen, it has my wrong initial in there, presumably because they didn't even change the name after suing the wrong Anthony Fantano. From this point, we're kind of getting deep into the weeds of very boring legal rigmarole, so I will try to keep it mostly to the good and interesting bits. Now, while it is true I do not live in California, the state where I live actually actually has a law on the books that copies a California law, an anti-SLAPP law. You may be asking, Anthony, what's anti-SLAPP? Well,
I know.
It allows defendants
I
to
watched
file
the John
a
Oliver
special
segment.
motion to dismiss when a complaint is based on the opposing party's exercise of its right of free speech, right to petition the government, or right of association under the U.S. or CT constitutions. Essentially, what this allowed me to do was essentially tell the court, I believe I am just exercising my free speech and my journalistic rights, and the only reason this lawsuit is being filed is to silence me, essentially. So after filing this, if the judge found that, in their own opinion, to be true, after looking at all of the facts of the case, of course, then this whole thing could essentially be dismissed with Ronnie owing me legal.
Yeah, the other Anthony Fantano is now bankrupt, legally destitute. He's gone. Just another incidental casualty, you know, collateral damage in a war between titans.
Fees that I've had to shell out over the course of the process. Because yes, keep in mind, none of this is happening to me for free. I basically had to pay out of the ass every step of the way, this whole thing. Retaining a lawyer costs money, filing the anti-SLAPP costs money, negotiations from there costs money. So please watch the hell out of this video and hit the like button. So yeah, all that money and this very tense process is understandably going to make even me, who was very confident in my rights here, break a sweat. However, all of the headlines and Ronnie's tweets and his crash outs and announcements on this topic publicly essentially put me in a position where I was like, I have to see this through.
It's like unlosable, right? Because he's constantly dropping equally or not equally, far more defamatory shit constantly. Like there's no way this would stand. This is one of those things where I feel like our eagerness to be nominally democratic actually makes things way worse. It's the same as like housing regulations. Like regulations sound good, but right now in America, it is legally impossible to build anything because there's a regulation on the books in every city that says that if you try to build something, somebody will shoot you. If you try to build a duplex, somebody will shoot you. If you try to build an apartment building, they'll kill your entire family. So like there are bad regulations. And likewise, I don't know, man. Sometimes I feel like this country gives way the too much ground to overly litigious people. Like, it is insane that our legal system is set up so that you need to put an anti-SLAPP law in place to prevent wealthy people from just annihilating you and burdening you with hundreds of thousands of dollars of legal fees. For which usually at the end, if there's no SLAPP law, even if you win, they pay what? Maybe your legal fees? That's it? Years and years and years of going into debt and desperately spending, maybe, and the payout at the end, maybe, is that some portion of your legal fees get paid for? Absolutely insane.
Can't just allow this to quietly settle in his favor or anything like that, because that's going to send the message that anybody who hates me can essentially just like pull up with lawyers anytime I say something they don't like and shut me down entirely. And honestly, that you don't become the biggest music critic in the world by folding like a bitch. And again, also,
is he the biggest music critic in the world? That can't be true. There's got to be some guy in India who's got more YouTube. Whatever China has for YouTube, there's got to be a guy.
So knowing Ronald's history of going after anybody and anybody that has like a little bit of criticism for him online, I also wanted to see this through so that other content creators out there could see that Ronald is not unbeatable and he's just a big annoying bully. Allegedly, that's my opinion. That's my opinion of the guy. So yeah, fast forwarding toward the end of this thing, and our lawyers are having oral arguments in front of the judge. And I shit you not, Ronald's legal team legitimately tried to argue that part of the reason my comments about him were so damaging was that he's not even actually famous. Yeah, he's just a small bean, a little guy, and I'm like the big bad buff sexy.
Like it's genuinely insane that this is the level a defamation suit can be taken to, where your lawyers have to make arguments to dispel the lawsuit, you know, to a public figure, because you have to meet the actual malice standard. Like unbelievable.
Hot, just voluptuous music reviewer who's just towering over his little weak baby body, and he's, oh my god, he's just so powerless in my shadow. Again, if you spend...
I used to talk more like this. I don't talk like this anymore. Contradictorily, I was way more boastful when I was fat and ugly. And now that I'm not fat and not ugly, now I'm like, you do you, man. I wonder why that is. Do you think it's because once you actually lose weight, now it comes across as conceited? Like if you're doing the Tacoma Wept shit when you're 300 pounds, it's like obviously a joke. But if you do it when you're 200 pounds, then it's like, you know, oh, he's gotten really full of himself since the weight loss, hasn't he? Yeah, now it actually feels like you're bragging. That kind of sucks. That kind of sucks. That bravado has to be kind of tamped down a little bit.
Any lick of time on Ronnie's social media, you will see very quickly, very immediately, this man thinks he's like one of the biggest artists in the world of all time ever. So yeah, that argument doesn't exactly gel with his very twisted reality. And yeah, thankfully the judge saw through this like any rational person would. Shout out to Judge Shah for the banging decision that I got here in this anti-SLAPP.
He paid them off. So many people think you were being serious with Tacoma Wept to this day. I think that's because of Hassan. Hassan has always been really, really amused by the Tacoma Wept thing. The Tacoma Wept thing was literally just me being like, yeah, haha, I have lots of sex with hot babes. Like, what it's... No, I acknowledge it's funny. I think it's crazy to take that totally at face value. I thought it was funny. I'm not saying it's not funny. That was the point. I think a lot of people think that I thought everyone in Tacoma punched their own ticket after I left. Yeah, it's the one thing he brings up every time. In fairness, not the worst thing he could smear me for.
Dismissal. I will actually quote from some of the portions here. Here's an interesting bit that essentially talks about how I based my video on, well-known elements of Ronald's reputation. Again, he is the popular monster after all. The plaintiff was named by music news outlet Loudwire as one of the most controversial singers in rock and metal as a result of his criminal history, allegations of sexual...
You can counter with the fashion video if Hassan talks shit. How the f do I counter with the fashion video? Hassan's more fashionable than I am. How the f do I... He's a Insta model, man. He may not know like the 7 ancient techniques of getting a proper lapel roll, but he dresses up and goes outside and looks better than me. What do you want? I'm not going tip to tip against him on that level.
Abuse and incendiary political statements. And again, that's not me saying that. That's a quote. That's the judge. Ronald, don't call your lawyer up, please. The judge also cited that in the midst of all of this, Ronald had a lot of unhinged, unfounded personal attacks that he launched against me, including saying that my viewership was made up of paid bots from India. The judge also said that my video spoke to public concern as well, saying that speech that involves a matter of public concern includes issues of economic or community well-being and other regulatory matters. This would appear to include unethical behavior alleged against a regulated professional. Indeed, public allegations that someone is involved in crime generally are a matter of free speech of public concern. Another section here in the decision has more to do with me than with Ronald, because personally, I just love that...
Like, do you think it would be a better system if, in order for a lawsuit to begin, you had to pitch the argument to somebody or a judge or a panel or a tribunal first? And then that would have to be like a grand jury type of situation. Like, in order for an indictment to be leveled, like there sometimes needs to be some kind of standard met. But like with lawsuits, literally there is no bar. Like you can just do a lawsuit under any circumstances. And then sometimes the judge will toss it out. But like, I feel like, I don't know why I'm trying to like soft pitch solutions to British common law.
The term Sussy Wussy was included in an official legal document of this sort because of my word choice in my original video about Ronald. Sussy Wussy, which is a legal term. Perhaps most directly, the plaintiff's premise of malice is contradicted by the portion of the video where the defendant states that charges against the plaintiff were dismissed, true, but the fact that all this behavior is piling up is
might
quite...
be cool now, but I remember when he was cringe. Everyone's seen the damn video, man.
Today about music, art, fashion, one of the greatest problems that our...
He hates this one, right? I'm sorry, I'm trying to open up. I'm like a corpse flower. In that I'm a big boy. I'm trying to refamiliarize myself with the environment that I've silently stood in for a while. Oh man, this has so many dislikes.
Our generations of This is a war.
How's the drip though? I don't really know anything about streetwear. I can't comment on it.
Sussy Wussy. Yeah, I'm also sorry to
Load
whoever had to
it in the
type
clip
out
waiting for us
Sussy
when we get
Wussy.
back.
I apologize.
Fucking
I won't do it again. The judge
6
also
shots in the
found
cylinder.
it very interesting that Ronald's TikTok video about me essentially included an admission.
He was just agonizing about it over the day. Oh, it must be so hard being Hassan. Oh, there's a cringe video of you being hot, but like kind of dumb 7 years ago, man. How difficult it must be to be like chained to anchors of your past, you know? Mother getting bubble bath GQ interviews, piece of shit.
When I talk about him, I'm racking up his algorithms and sort of just making him more popular and more successful, essentially.
All of you done is has helped me because all of your fans
reverse
will
blackface?
come to my comments and just rack up my algorithms, and maybe I'll catch a couple incel fans from your fans.
Which, yeah, I mean, statements like that kind of undercut any claim of damages that you might have. So there you go. Ronald Radke being the author of his own undoing once again. And yeah, as a result of Ronald losing this, he had to pay me legal fees, but of course not before uploading a bitter ass video to
1 million views? I didn't realize he had that kind of clout. Maybe I shouldn't disparage him. It's not reverse blackface. It's a loving tribute to highly melanated individuals. I lost my lawsuit with Anthony Fantano. 1 million. I didn't realize he had that much of a online presence.
I'm going to make this quick. I lost my lawsuit to Anthony Fantano, but the reality is it makes me happy. Let's get it.
Oh. Well, that's convenient for him. That really worked out in his favor then. It was kind of like the game was rigged from the start, really. There was actually no way for Fantano to truly win in his heart of hearts.
Into it. For some of you guys that don't know, Anthony Fantano is a music critic, and he goes online and he judges music out of a scale of 1 to 10, which he rarely gives anybody.
Well, I don't actually want to listen to this guy talk for 15 minutes, just to be clear.
10
or maturity.
I'm suing you. That's why I sued you. The audacity. If I
Pieces of shit, but no, to talk about their experiences having been sexually assaulted, and he doesn't do the same thing that maybe some other artists do. When they're hit with similar allegations, they might make a statement, they might apologize, they might disappear into the shadows, never to be heard from again because they're cowardly pieces of shit. But no, not Ronald. Ronald doubles down and sues.
This is why I sued you, Anthony. You're making it seem like I doubled down on actual gang rape and sued somebody to silence them. That is why I'm suing you. That's why I sued you. The audacity. If I was in front of you right now, dude, listen to what I'm saying right now. The audacity for you to imply that I
This guy made my life is like a video game. I can't wrap my head around that, man. That's crazy to think about.
literally gang rape somebody and
Jesus Christ. Okay, Fantano. Sorry. One video over on the tab. My apologies. Fantano, take us away. Wrap it up.
To the Falling in Reverse YouTube channel, which is actually such a mess of a video, but loaded with some interesting points that I do want to address. So I wanted to say at the end of this video here, I am going to go over a lot of Ronald points in that video.
Ooh.
Just not going to do it here because it's just such a shit lasagna that I have to unpack. But still, maybe my favorite parts of that video are when Ronald essentially admits multiple times that this lawsuit was doomed from the start, but he just like had to do it and had to go through it anyway for like the principle of the whole thing.
The reason why I'm making this video is because I sued Anthony Fantano and my lawyers told me there's a small chance you will win this, but that's not why I sued him. I sued him so I could make this video right now.
And again, that and along with other things said in Ronald's video, I will address in...
That's like a Mr. Beast premise right there. I filed 100 SLAPP lawsuits. Watch what happened next.
Another upload. I just felt it important to do this separately because I just wanted to talk about my own experience here being sued. And while, yeah, it was not super positive, it was kind of necessary. And
wasn't there another YouTuber who had been like extensively covering a lawsuit that they were going through that they ended up losing, actually. It was like a video game high score or speedrun YouTube channel. Carl Jobst. Yeah. He made like 1 million videos on it and he ended up losing, which must have been a little bit anticlimactic. Yeah, it sucks for him. He lost to the bearded guy. Many people do. Fantano's cool. He's a cool guy. I don't have to be that musically knowledgeable. You know what's really fucked up about you people? You know what's really fucked up about the system that you don't know, that you can't appreciate? It's the fact that even if I did get into music in some capacity, the meme that I hate it would persist indefinitely. I could try really hard to have a good opinion. I'd be up, I'd be trying to like I'd assemble one from first principles, and I'd deliver it, and you guys reflexively, you would be like, that's ass, buddy. That's comedically bad. The past will haunt them. Yeah, and Hassan's still complaining about a 7-year-old video, honestly. Honestly. I thought you liked video game OSTs. Is that wrong? You can't say that, man. There are lots of like really good video game OSTs and everyone agrees they're awesome and people love listening to them, but you can't say that's what you like listening to. You can't do that, man. People will tear you apart. They will fucking lacerate you. These days it's more acceptable, I find. Okay, yeah, like how everyone wears sweatpants at the grocery store. Yeah.